Hi, this is Pink Girly. I'm here with part 2 of my red, white, and blue junk journal. I finished it off camera. The first video, when I just let the camera roll and was crafting, got a little long, so I thought I would just finish this up and then show you what the end result looks like. And so it's changed quite a lot, and of course it's much thicker than I had hoped it would be. Now I only made 2 signatures because the spine of the book cover that I used was so narrow. And I did split my binding here, which I didn't realize until I glued my signatures in. So in the first video I mentioned I thought I had ripped that. So I did. So to fix that, I put a piece of muslin here and just penned the word journal. I can see where I need a little bit more adhesive there, so I'm going to add some glue to there to hold that down a little better. I did take a marker and go around my flag, and then I just used some StazOn ink on my ink pad and used a stamp to create the little scattered marks. And then my hero, I just glued that on the front, and I used my E6000 so that this won't pop off or go anywhere. Inside, I just chose a navy blue with a silver star pattern for my inside cover. I only had 1 sheet of this, and then when I made my second cut for the back cover, it was short. And look, see, I didn't get that glued down well either. Boy, I'm batting 1,000 here. So I'll glue that before we leave. But you can see, it's really a good thing, so you can see how short I was. So then I just added this strip of paper here to make a pocket, because I didn't have any more of this to recut that piece. So then I did a pocket here, and I didn't want it to just be a plain pocket, plain background. So I just got some additional paper and stamped the word photo. I put a piece of felt down and made a pocket. And then I'm just including a page from a book, My Cousin Abe, thinking about Abraham Lincoln, and it went with the red, white, and blue theme in my mind, so that's what I put there. And then we made this pocket in the first video. I'm not sure, I guess I should have re-looked at that, where we actually ended, but I thought this looked kind of blank. I know we did the lines, so I just punched out a, I don't know if I can get us in a little, zoom it in, or if that will be a little too close for you. Let's try that. I just punched out a circle, and then I added a piece of muslin, and then I put a star brad through there. And then I glued that to the disc, to the circle, before I put it on the page, so that I didn't have that brad sticking through on the other side. And then I just made a little journaling card, and I'm adding a scruffy old card from a deck of cards, and I have that in the first pocket. And then we went ahead and we covered up this paper and made a pocket, and then I added paper on here, and I just did some stamping with the days of the week, and then I just made a little sign that said jot it down. And then I just cut a piece of cardstock. I used my tab punch, and then I put another star brad in there, and before I glued it on, I put the brad on so that you don't see the wings of the brad on the other side. On this side of the paper, because it has a pattern, and in case you want a journal on there, I just brushed on some gesso, some white gesso, and let that dry. And so that fits in that pocket. And this is my little piece of flag material. I'll just stitch that on. And then here I made just a little card, and I had some red, white, and blue Americana type stickers. So I put the God Bless America on there. I did that in the first video. And then I added these other stars and stripes. I usually like to include recipes or inspirational things. So this is just a recipe from one of those books like neighborhoods or churches put out, and then I just put a flag on a paper clip. And all these pages can be journaled on. And then we built this. We used the wood grain paper. We made our little tab, and you can journal up there, add a picture, and journal here. We added some washi tape, of course, with glue. And then I added my little paper clip and just a couple of little interesting vintage type pieces of paper. And of course you can journal on this gridded area. I love these little baby clips. These are a Tim Holtz item. And then this was looking kind of plain, so I just took some of my Distress Stain. It's called Wild Honey, and I just dabbed some of it on a baby wipe. This has a sponge applicator, but sometimes you get too much out of that. And I just gave this page some color, mostly the Wild Honey and the yellow color, because I had yellow here. And then I used my scattered stamp to make those little spattered marks. I left my lace here. I thought you could just glue some images on or things that you might like to save in the book, and just added the words Real Faith. They're just hot glued on. And then the back side of that, I put a piece of the burlap paper that I had, and then a strip of this, I love this material, burgundy with goldish kind of stars, and I just stapled that on. And then over here on this side, created another place to journal. You can of course flip that up, and I added washi tape. And then this is where my first signature ties in, and sometimes I tie them in a bow. Now I did take some look, my hands are filthy, some ink pad, a vintage photo, Tim Holtz color, and dulled down these white strings that I use to tie my signatures in. And then I like to tie them either in a bow where they just lay in the center of the book, or I like to add things. And I added a bell, a little rustic kind of looking bell that kind of hangs out the bottom of the book. On the back side of that, I did a star, and cut a second star out, cut that in half, and then stitched it when I was doing my stitching, and made a little pocket that can hold a couple of tags. And then I continued with the yellow, and then just added another little sticker I had, and then some more star material. This is a Tim Holtz item here. I just picked him out because he looked like he'd go in a red, white, and blue book to me. And I didn't glue him all the way down, so I can tuck underneath an item underneath of him. And of course you can journal on this page. You can journal on this page. And I added this card from a deck of cards because it says Congress. Added a very small paper clip and a business card. This is a little cutout from a graphic 45 paper. I think it's from the typology, something like that paper, or it might be the communications. I Our telephones, Miss Liberty, I've got her in the book too. Then I just added a guest check, again for journaling. Here I did some stamping, and then I just had some of these cut out hearts. Made the lines with the credit card like I showed you in the first video. And we can tuck that in there. I put in some more of this material. I had a little bit of a gap here where I put my signature in. And so I just added that material. Glued that in with some fabric glue. This stuff is great. This is Beacon brand Fabri-Tac. And this is real handy to have if you're going to be making books and working with material, even if you want to cover the book in material. Added another little paper clip that's holding a few cards here. This I made, it's like a little pocket where you can slip something else in. And this is the, this was an old library book that was discarded, and this is the actual book, the natural history book. So this was in the back page, so I kept that. Not crazy about this pink discard. I guess I could have covered that. I might think about doing that. But then I had just a little bit of this red, white, and blue paper, so I made a little pocket where you can slip something in there. Added the Miss Liberty, that is from the communications paper, the graphic 45. And then we added the little stars at the top, star brads. And you can journal there, and of course you could slip something underneath. And just a square of material. I did stitch that on, but it was a little loose after I stitched it, so I just added some glue behind it to keep that from wiggling around and coming loose. Another Tim Holtz cutout. And then I had some gold paper in here, and I just lined the back of that so you could do some journaling, and just added a couple of tags. This is from a Tim Holtz box of cards. He has a couple different versions. I know there's a winter one, I think, and this is I think from just I don't know what he calls it. It's a little burgundy box. Looks like a little card box. And then we have Seize the Day. And then I had a gold frame here. I just added this little card where you can glue a picture in there. More space for journaling. This here is one of those old-time, gosh, what did they call them? Where you put all your pictures go in these little frames. You ordered them that way, and then you put them in the machine, and you can watch them and throw them up on a wall. Gosh, my dad used to show these all the time, and now it's not coming to me. But if it's plastic, you can pull that apart and use the little film to measure the size picture that you need. This is what slides out of it. So then you can measure what you need, and then you can just pop that open and slide whatever you want in there to go with whatever book you're working on. Now there's also cardboard ones that I was watching a video, and the gal's name is Debbie, and I think her YouTube videos may be under Ephemera Vintage Garden, something like that. And she was showing a book where she used these. And I thought, oh, I wonder if my mom still has those. So I quick called my mom, and she said, oh, I was just getting ready to throw those away. So I have a ton of them. I feel like I hit the jackpot. But here's one that's just the paper. So what you would do is take your X-Acto knife and cut out the film. And you can use the film really too and glue that in the book somewhere. And then you could stamp around the edge. You can use it for a page turner or just like a design on the page. And then this plastic type where it says this side towards screen, that just pops open a little bit. And then you can just slide that film out and then slide in whatever you want to include. So I think that looks kind of cool. And then I didn't like how I put a flag on the back of that, and then I didn't lay it out very well, and you didn't see much of the flag, so I cut a little chunk of the paper out. I definitely would suggest you have a plan before you do this stuff, but sometimes, you know, when you're just sitting and creating, things happen. And so I've glued that on and added some material. And then I've got two little charms. This is a Tim Holtz charm. And then he gives you the little hearts that you can pull out the, I don't know if you can really see that, a little photograph and put inside the heart. And then I just added a little key. And then I made, this is a little pocket you can purchase. I just scrunched that up a little bit, decorated it, added some burlap and some material that match. Again, I did the gesso on the back of this card, so that can slip in there. Of course, plenty of space for journaling. And this is another card from the communications pad of Graphic 45. I love Graphic 45 paper. I'm really not liking how this auto focus is treating us. Of course, I'm not sure that's going to be any better. Let's see how that works. And then I just made another card out of a blue cardstock, punched a couple of holes, and then put this. This is another Tim Holtz pin. He has like the best stuff. I just put another little circular disc there to tuck these under. Added a little washi tape. And then on this pocket, this is the craft card pocket. I just added a craft doily. And again, just punched out another little piece of paper, added a brad. And this was a card that I had in my stash. And I just inked the edges. And this is another clip that Tim Holtz sells. Just thought I'd use that as a little handle to get the card in and out. See, part of my problem is I have my reading glasses on so I can see what I'm doing, but then I can't see the computer screen. This page here, I didn't like what I'd done to it. I think on the original video you probably can see it, and I didn't like how I decorated it, so I didn't want to tear it out because I like the other half of it here. So I cut it down and then cut out a second sheet of just plain paper, stamped some hearts on there, and then on the back side just added a piece of muslin, I guess I should say. And then over here I just, to make the page a little more sturdy, added a couple pieces of cardstock. And here is the flag that we had taped, had glued in, or I guess I had stitched it in the back. And then I just added a few more pages. And the same back here. Took a piece of, this was really from a Tim Holtz Christmas pack. Added on this little bit of, it's like clear plastic. It's got Oh Happy Day on it. Added that onto a piece of felt. And then to make the page coordinate, this is a memo pin from Tim Holtz. I just put that in a piece of felt and then glued that at the top of the page. Of course, you can stuff other things in here. You can make the book as fat as you want. But I need to find my glue. I kind of just shoved everything because I'm hoping to do another video. So I've got my little bottle here with my needle nose kind of applicator. And that's just really, I just didn't add enough glue. It's attached pretty well at the top. So I'm going to add some, just a bead of glue here. And put that back down where it belongs. And that really should secure that. I think I was fussing around with it before and the glue probably dried before I put it on the back cover. So that's it. I didn't do anything to the back of the book, the outside cover. I just left that plain. So if you have any questions, or you're curious about how I did something, leave me a comment and I'll get back to you. But thanks for joining me for the finished Red, White, and Blue Junk Journal. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.